or you want to give time for your friends? I'll mark them absent today. Yes, Aditya. Shall I take attendance now only? Mark all others absent? No, Okay. So last class we completed context models and we started with interaction models. Okay. So let's come to interaction models. Yes, can someone say what are interaction models? Okay, guys, last class you studied about context models, and today you are learning about interaction models. So, can someone tell why are you learning so many models? What is the use of modeling? Yeah. Okay, this only interaction model. Last class I taught you what is the use of coming up with models. Fast, Abhijit, Abhijit Kumar, Abhishek, Adish Sharma, Aditya Agarwal, Aditya Raj. Okay, fine. What is the use of having these models? Why am I teaching you all this? User expectations. Okay, sir, where did you get this answer? Aditya, others. First of all, you know what you're learning from the PPT. Okay, okay. Anyone else here? The people whose names I called out from A. Fine. See, the first job what you did was collecting the requirements. The next overall job what you will do is models. Come up with a model of the system what you are developing. So is it simple? No, yes, it is simple, but there are different types of modeling techniques which are available. Okay, based on the requirements and what you want to represent, there are different models. One such model what you represented was context model. What does the context model give is what is the requirements of the system and its environment, all that was given in the context model. What you need to develop and what you need not develop was given by the context model. Okay, ma'am, then yes, I will use only that. But what is inside the model, what you want to do, how people interact with, how does one module within a system, what you want to develop, interact with the other modules? That is all not given by this context model. So, in order to solve that, we have interaction model. Okay, so your software can be the software what you're developing can be represented using different models. So you finished with the context model which defines the environment. Next thing what you have is interaction model. So what is this interaction module? It gives the user interactions. Now what do I mean by user interaction? Let's say for example, I'm operating my Gmail account. What are the interactions involved when you are interacting with the Gmail system? Can you tell? Yeah? What are the kinds of interactions? You may be interaction, yes, login, compose, yes, account signing, okay. I think I lost network for a while, but now I think are you able to hear my voice and view? ಈಗ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ. Okay. So okay, thank you. So there are a number of user interactions what you do with respect to that Gmail. What I gave was account signing, viewing your mails, your messages, and composing or sending a message, sending a document, all that, right? So all of these are user interactions. So in order to show modeling all such kind of activities, we have interaction model. Okay. So Interaction models are used to show user interactions which may involve any user input or output. It will also show how the system interacts with the other modules. Suppose if you have divided your project or your software application into different components, this interaction model will shows how these components interact with one another. Okay. So, what is the use of coming up with such interaction model? It will help us to know what are the requirements that needs to be developed. Okay, and it will always and it will also let us to know whether if there is any discrepancies when the two modules are interacting with one. Let's say for example, I'm coming up with a user interaction for logging into a Gmail account. Okay, there may be some issues which I have not considered. Let's say for example, if he is not an authorized user or if he does not have an account, right? When I come up with this interaction model, it will allow me to find out any things which I have left out. Okay, it will also allow me to know the system requirements, dependability and performance of the system can all be evaluated by these interaction model. Fine. So did I tell you why do I require and what are the uses? What is interaction model? It involves interactions, nothing but user interaction of giving input and getting the output, or interacting with the different modules of the same system. Why do I require it? To require the user requirements, to see if there is any communication problems, and also to know the system performance and dependability. Okay. So, how can I come up with these system interaction models? There are two ways for representing interaction model. One is use case diagram and one is sequence diagram. Fine. So, yes, the need of this is all of this. Then it involves interaction. The two diagrams which gives the interaction models are use case diagram and sequence diagram. Okay. So what are these use case diagrams? So let's take first thing in interaction model is use case diagram. So what are these use case diagrams? Actually, these use case diagrams were developed by a person called Jacobson in the year 1993 or in the during the time 90s. We don't say the year. Reason being is it was developed during a period of time. So it was originally developed by Jacobson and later it was incorporated into UML. What is the full form of UML? Can someone say? UML, full form. Yes, Bhargav, what is the full form of UML? Bhuvanesh, Aditya, I didn't ask you. You're there in the class? No. Bhuvanesh, Rishita, Unified Modeling Language. Yes, Rishita, what is the use of this Unified Modeling Language? Okay, Rishita, Bhuvanesh, what do you mean by unified modeling language? Unifies modeling language, no, maybe I think it is a typo error you did. Unified modeling language, what does that mean? No idea. Is this the first time am I teaching you people? Anyone else can answer? What do you mean by unified modeling language? Okay. Is it copy paste or you people really know what does that unified modeling language means? Okay, Rishita, do you know what C programming language does? Why do you require C programming language, Rishita? Can you answer that question? Rishita Reddy. What is the use of C programming language? No. Why do you use C program? I don't want anyone else to answer. Rishita, Bhuvanesh, and Shri Harsha. The three of you. Why do you use C programming language? To develop a program. Yes, fine, agreed. The others also. Do you have anything else? Reason? Why do you use C programming language? It is language, right? Yes, you use C programming language to write C programs. And what do you learn in C programming language, Bhuvanesh? What did you learn in C programming language in your second semester? Printf, scanf, syntax of C programming language. Did you learn? Didn't you write a C program language and execute it? Yes? Yeah. So you have this unified modeling language. This is also a language which has a syntax, constructs. What is the job of this language? The job of this language is to come up with the design of the software. See, you don't write programs using UML. It is a standard language which is used to come up with a system design. All your friends have typed is the same answer. Yes, okay. But for your understanding, in simple words, it is a language which is used to come up with the design of a software. You're designing a software, right? Simply, you cannot write your own design in a way. You have to use a language for it, and the language that is commonly used across is UML, Unified Modeling Language. Have you learnt anything? What have you learnt till now in Unified Modeling Language? The three of you, Bhuvanesh, Rishitya, and Shri Harsha. Bhargav, I marked absent for him today. Can you tell somewhere where you have learnt? Yes, Bhargav, you're online. Can you unmute your audio? Can you people, four of you, people who starts with B, can you tell, have you learnt any UML right until now? UML language to do something, some software design, have you learnt? Tell something, at least you don't know. Okay, fine, Bhuvanesh, have you learnt UML somewhere? What does this mean if no reply, nothing like this? Mute? I can also mute myself for 1.5 hours and uh, Yes, Rakshit, Chandan, Chandrakant, Chetna. Have you used UML to do something till now? Thanks, Chandrakant. Chandan, CM Rakshit, and Chetana, sorry. So you have learned classes and object, didn't I teach you? The rectangle boxes and underlining the how to represent a class, how to represent an object, how to represent a generalization, that is inheritance, associations. Have I taught you or not taught you? I have taught, right? How to write, and I asked you to send that also, and I said you cannot change, you have to write it. If I say a class, you should write it in a rectangle with the name at the top, attributes at the below, and the functions below that. Why I have to write like that only? Because I am using UML language construct there, or UML notations to represent a class and object. Is it okay now? So do you remember now where you have learnt UML? The four of you, Bhuvanesh, Bhargav, Rishita, and Sri Harsha. What about Sri Harsha? He's not in the class. Okay, one second. Let me mark my attendance. Um, those who are not answering, I will be marking now only. You can't just simply log in and not even talk for 5 minutes. It is 2 minutes fine. You could not talk. But 5 minutes you are not talking, you are not responding anything. What does that mean? Fine. So this use case model, it was developed by Jacobson, and it was put into UML. See, there are different types of diagrams. All these diagrams fit under the category of this UML. Okay. So why, ma'am, I can't write my own diagram? See, if you write your own diagram as a designer, how will the other person understand? Correct, right? Can you write your own C programs and execute? No, right? The C compiler will not execute your program if you come up with your own syntax. Similarly, if you are coming up with the design, you have to use UML language. So UML language allows so many things: use case diagrams, context model, activity diagrams. Next, you have sequence diagram. So one such diagram is use case diagram. So this was developed by Jacobson, which represents the interaction models, or it represents modules interact with one another. Fine. Okay. So here each case represents a discrete task which involves an interaction with the system. So basically it involves an external interaction with the system. How you interact with the other people or with the system is all given by this use case diagram. In this use case diagram, you have some things known as actors. So these actors are always given by that person's stick. Okay. So these are the people or the system which begin the interaction. Okay, it consists of these actors are nothing but people or a system which begin the interaction. So represented diagrammatically, so there can be to provide the overview of a use case or more detailed textual form. So this gives an overview of the interaction, or it can give more detailed information. So what does that mean is, see, this diagram represents a interaction. Along with this interaction, you can give more detailed information. And that more detailed information can be a simple textual form or in a table form, or you can have a sequence diagram. See, one use case diagram you can represent. I will show you. I have a use case diagram for this is one use case diagram. I will explain. So, in along with this, you can have a supporting textual information or tabular information, or you can expand this use case diagram here to have a sequence diagram. Fine. So, in this use case diagram, a person who interacts or a system that involves in the interaction are known as actors. So, there are two actors. This is one actor and this is one actor. So, both of them are actors. Okay. So, these actors interact. What kind of operation they do is given by an eclipse. So the operation is given by an eclipse. So this eclipse gives the action. Okay. So this eclipse gives the action that needs to be performed by the system. So here in this example, patient health monitoring system, right? MHC PMS system. Here there are actors that are involved as a receptionist has to update the patient record system. You know who is a medical receptionist, the person who is there in the hospital or in the clinic. Now they have to update the patient's record whence he visited, right? So how do you represent this kind of interaction is given by this use case. Let's say a patient visits a clinic. The receptionist records his whatever meeting with the doctor, and once it is done, he has to update the record system. Like maybe he visited on October 14th and maintain that within a record system. So how do I represent that kind of interaction? That can be represented using transfer data use case. So the person who is doing the interaction is the receptionist. Now you might ask, ma'am, why receptionist? Can't it be patient? Who will do? Who will interact with the software? Will the patient interact or will the receptionist interact? Yes, guys, who will interact? Receptionist, right? The end user or a patient does not have access to the system. Only thing he can access is whether there are some meetings available or something like that, that he can access, but he cannot access the other things. So the receptionist is the actor who is involved. And what is the operation he is doing? Transferring of data. What is the transferring of data? That is nothing but patient information. So eclipse represent the operation here, and the interaction is given by an arrow, and this arrow mark is represents the link. Now even without the arrow mark you can write. why i why we need an arrow mark here in this case is, that is this one. It means that receptionist initiates the action on what function? Transfer data. So it starts from the receptionist, it goes to the transfer data function, and this transfer data in turn updates what? Another actor here, that is nothing but patient record system. Now you might ask, ma'am, this patient record system is not a person. Yes, but whatever, if it represents your actors, it may be a living thing or it may be a system also. So this patient record system here is nothing but a database for us. Okay. So a patient record system can also be a actor. Okay. Did you understand? Now, can you all of you listen? I will ask any person. Can you write a use case? Fine. For a user, authenticated user, changing the password. Use case for use case for changing password. All of you, take a pen, take a sheet of paper, and please follow the same thing and you can write. For changing your password. It's very simple, right? Finished writing? Okay. Can someone mail me to shilpa-csc@dsatm, that email ID? One can mail, I will. Shilpa-csc@dsatm.edu.in. The others finished trying. It's the easiest thing that can be done. I don't have that stick, so I will use a smiley, actor symbol. Very simple, isn't it? Why am I not able to draw the arrow from here? Okay. So, what is this user? I say first one is the authenticated user here. Fine. Maybe this one I can say change password. PWD I'll write short form. And this actor here, maybe I will say Google database or login credentials. Yes, correct. See, this should be a stick, okay? Because I didn't get that symbol. Something like this, it should have been. You should always use this symbol, guys. You can't use any other symbol for an actor. I think somehow like this. The same symbol you have to use it for all the places which represents the actor. Isn't it simple? Use case diagram. So, in this diagram, what we are trying to understand is a user how he interacts with this login credential. Okay, he interacts this to this function something like a change password. Fine. Any doubts here? Kavya Aditya Raj have sent. Yeah. Hmm. Um, See, this is the class I am allowing. Okay, I'm just allowing you people. But in the next class, if I see people not interacting or I don't know, first one whom did I take, but if they are not responding in the next classes, I'm surely not going to give attendance. I'm telling. I think two people sent Kavya and Aditya Raj. Let me post their this thing. Can you both confirm which one is yours? One second, guys. Yes. I hope you can see now. I think first one was Kavya's and the second one was Aditya Raj's answer. Okay with this? All of you? Yes, guys. Shall I continue? So this is, see, this use case represents like this. But if you want to give more information to that, you can have a tabular description. That is for our transfer data, right? We have this transfer data here. For that, they have a tabular description. Who are the actors? Medical receptionist, patient record system are the two actors here. What is the description? The medical receptionist may transfer the data from this to patient record database that is maintained. What are the data that is transferred? Patient personal information, treatment summary, stimulus command, user command issued by the medical receptionist. Who does it? What is the confirmation or response? It is a confirmation. Can you write the same thing for whatever use case diagram we have come up across here? Yes? Can't we write it? So it will give more explanation when we have, or more details when we come up with a tabular representation for that. Okay? Excuse me. Any doubts in this? Yeah? So this tabular data gives me the information there. So not only this, use case diagrams can be shown the types of interactions that a particular person may be involved in. So let's say, for example, in the MHC PMS system, the medical receptionist we saw that does the transfer of data. Not only that, they can do a multiple number of actions, functions, like registering the patient, unregistering the patient, view patient information, transfer the data, contact patient, all that can be done. So these kind of activities can also be showed within a use case diagram. Fine. Can you tell, for a user who uses a login system, what and all the user can do? How can you represent it within a use case diagram? That is use case involved in an authenticated user. I mean use cases in a Gmail system, that is your mail system, that can be done by an authenticated user. Yeah, something like this. The person can do multiple operations like first one is login, then second one is compose. So like this he can go on with the n number of operations. So what and all operations that are possible, that can be shown within a use case diagram. Ma'am, yes ma'am, I can show. Let's say for example, um, I add another thing here. For example, here something like create an account. Okay, let's say for example, create account. Maybe as an authenticated user, okay, you don't have the rights. So, if he is a normal user and we don't have given him the permissions to create an account, but the use case diagram we have just represented, what will happen is in these cases, someone who goes through this use case diagram will be able to know what is the something if we have done any wrong. So he will get to know this. He can pinpoint, oh, this is not possible. So I can say just remove this. So this is not possible with a normal user. So only an admin can do it. So this comes under his job. Okay. So the requirements can be clearly defined, and if there are some issues or problems, they can be identified within this use case diagrams. Am I clear? Yes, it will allow us to know what. See, in this diagram only, medical receptionist, we know that he can do only these five operation. Something like changing information, okay, update patient information or do some other things. They cannot do it. Something like treatment, okay, give treatment or prescribe, give prescription. That is not there within the medical receptionist use case, right? Role. So this tells us what and all the medical receptionist can do. All is defined here. It means that apart from that, if you want to do something, they you need not have to do that. So someone who is implementing the role of this medical doing coding, they should know, they will know that a medical receptionist can do only these things. They cannot do anything else. Did you get this? All of you? Because use case diagrams are very commonly used across whenever you are doing your project work. Even when you come to next semester, if you're doing mini projects, for that mini projects also we will ask you to write use case diagrams. Okay. Next type of diagrams which are supported in interaction models are sequence diagram. What are these sequence diagrams? Sequence diagrams are used to tell the interaction between the actors and also the objects involved in the system. So, yes, it will show the actors, but it will show the interaction between the actors and the objects in the system, and also the interaction between the objects among themselves. Okay, what does that mean? Let's see examples, you will get to know. Fine. And also, this also sequence diagram uses the syntax of UML. Okay, and given a use case diagram, you can give more detail to those use case diagrams using these sequence diagrams. See, you saw the transfer of data, right? You just saw one little bit, but you can add more detail or more information to the same job by using these sequence diagrams. Okay, now here let's show one simple sequence diagram for viewing patient information. Can someone okay, can someone give a use case diagram for this view patient information? Something like this. Okay, let's say this is a medical receptionist. They have here, see, in use case, this is a use case diagram. Okay, I want to give the difference of both of them. And the other thing I want you to tell is please listen for today. Tomorrow's class, I will ask someone to explain this for 10 minutes. Any, all of you. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay. So on the top, you have a use case diagram, which I said, like previously, which tells the functionality which will be performed. So let's say this is the medical receptionist, is the actor here who does one operation, that is viewing the patient information. Is everything clear here? All of you? Now, I can add more detail to it. what information, how it involves, how this actor receptionist interacts and gets or views this patient information. It's very like very simple. I want to get more details about it, then I can represent it using sequence diagram. Okay, in sequence diagram, who and all are the people who are involved in this interaction are given at the top. All of you, please properly listen to this. Sequence diagram, very important. See the top here. Okay, this top here you can see the objects which are involved in the interaction. One is the receptionist, who is the actor. Okay, and the patient information. Okay, then you have patient information object. Then you have this as database here where the information is stored. Then you have another object here, that is authorization. This authorization object is used to check whether the receptionist is an authorized person to view the patient information. Okay, did you understand? So all the objects which are involved in the interaction are given at the top. So this is the medical receptionist, this is the patient information, this is the database, and this is the authorization. Fine. The interaction between these objects are indicated by the arrow marks. So there are we say it as annotations, okay? Annoted arrow marks, which says what that interaction involves. Fine. And you might ask me, ma'am, what are these lines here? Okay. So each of these objects, the medical receptionist object, will all be represented by a vertical line like this. See, this is the vertical line which gives the object of which is associated with the object of medical receptionist. So this is a vertical line which is associated with the patient information. Okay, and this is a vertical line which is gives the database object, and here this gives the authorization module. But if you observe the difference here, okay, the rectangle here, it is a rectangle box, or I can go for authorization. In authorization, it is given by dotted lines here, but only at a certain point it is rectangular box. Did you observe it? That is here. Only at this point it is a rectangular box, otherwise it is a dotted line. It means that it gives the lifeline of that object. That is, it means that this authorization is object is used only during this time period. Did you understand? It is the lifeline of that object. So this authorization object is, yes, given from here top to bottom, it is there, but it is used only during this time. Ma'am, it is a little confusing. Okay, fine. Let me show how it works. Okay, let's say, how do I understand this figure? Now, the figure always begins with the topmost arrow mark. Which is the topmost arrow mark here? Which is the topmost arrow mark? Can you tell me the arrow mark which is given with a what labeling? Yes. Which is the topmost arrow mark in this diagram? View info. Thank you, Kavya, Chetana, and Pranati. Okay. So it means that first it starts with view info. And who started with this view info? Which object started this view info? Medical receptionist. So medical receptionist first gave the instruction view info. And if you see, along with this view info, within the parenthesis, you have certain things. What are those things? It tells what are the arguments you are passing with that request. So, along with the view info, I am giving PID. PID means the patient ID. The patient ID for which I need to view the information I am passing. Okay. So, this view information, where does it go to? It goes to the patient info object. Yes. Once the patient info receives, it does not have the data. After that, which is the next arrow mark do you have? You have report. Agreed? So, patient info next sends the request called report to where? To the database. Now, if you see, report is passing other arguments like PID, which it got from the receptionist, and also the information. The information is nothing but okay. What information does patient information it requires? And also it gets sends UID. What is this UID? UID is the authenticated user. Who is the user who is requesting this info? It may be the UID of this receptionist also. So it sends all the authentication request as well as the patient information to the next object that is nothing but the database which contains it. The database will simply not return the data. What does it do? It calls another function called authorizer. It means that authorization should be there whether this UID is a person who can access the information, database information. Fine. So this calls the function or an object of authorization. So that's the reason here. If you see this one here, it only starts here. Authorization begins when it is called, and as soon as it gives a reply, authorization. Okay, fine. It will go to the DB. Once the DB, it will get, see, all the replies are given by dotted arrows. Fine. See, you won't get a reply from the DB, the patient information, until authorize has given the reply. So once authorization gives the reply, if it is properly authorized, okay. Okay, it is an authorization, okay. Only then if it gives to DB, that is this thing here, it gives to the DB here. Yes, it is okay. Then DB gives the patient information. Okay, back to here. And that patient information is returned back to the receptionist. Did you get that? Now, assume if he is not an authorized user, directly here that message comes as an error, not access, not possible. Fine. It will go from the authorization module to this DB and from that to this patient info. You might say, ma'am, I will, if you error access rather than coming up here, if you can see, you might tell, ma'am, I don't want the error message to come to the patient info. I want it to come to the receptionist itself. Then you can draw that arrow mark till here. Okay? If that is what the system you want. Did you understand? Then this lifeline should come till down here. This lifeline will get executed till down here. This rectangle box here, Alt. by name. What does it give? Actually, it says that this is based on the condition. So, this alt means that all of this is based on a particular condition, and that condition is authorization okay or authorization fail. Fine. So, this getting patient information or getting the error information is based upon this alt condition, that is authorization okay or fail. Now, ma'am, you might tell, ma'am, there are so many things missing. The authorization should come here, no, or authorization should go here. All that can I can do, so many things I can do. Yes, you can do so many things, but the sequence diagram will leave off minute details. It will what you want, what does it want to convey is only the major things involved. Let's say in this example only, in this example, this what does the sequence diagram say is when a receptionist goes request for a view information, it cannot directly access the database and get off the information. No, it has to call the patient information object, that will in turn call the DB. The DB should do authorization before giving the data. So all this has to be done before viewing the information. That is what the sequence diagram conveys. Or I can also say that view information is possible only when authorization is done. So what is the use of this? Assume you have not collected the requirement, you were not in the design, you are doing only coding. When I am doing the coding, I will not know in and out of the system. Oh, as soon as I see the sequence diagram, they'll give me the sequence diagram and say, do the coding. So the person who is doing the coding will know that whoever is viewing the information should be an authorized user. Otherwise, they cannot do the job. So this will help the coders or implementers to develop the system, or to code, or to come up with the coding for this activity, viewing patient information. Did you understand? Will you go through it once, all of you? What I explained? Okay. Let me delete all of these. So you can have this. This rectangular box means lifeline. Somewhere you did not understand, please let me know. You might say some lines are missing or why it should go like this only. This is how you have designed. You might tell, ma'am, I don't. Of course, sir. If you say this authorization, let's say for example, okay, for viewing this, calling this patient info before only, I need to do authorization. Okay, fine. See, let's say for example, authorization, okay. For view patient info while doing this only, I want to do authorization. The first step here. As soon as this I am called, okay, this view patient information, I have to do the authorization. So where should the call go to? Can someone say? Authorize should come first and the call should go to authorization, right? Second only. Now I will have to call this one from here to authorization. Yes, this is where I should call. Do you agree? But see, the lifeline of this is only during this time period. Okay, so it is not there. So hence you have to say it exists here also. Okay, so this is working during this time also available. That is what it means. Then yes, I can take an let's say it is an arrow dotted mark and go from here back to patient information, and then it will call the report and all of that. Okay, fine. And because it was active only during that time, for that instance, I will make this lifetime only here. Did you now understand, Ankita? It means that lifeline, okay, in that terms, if it is dotted, it exists, but it is not alive. Okay, if that rectangular box is there, it means it is alive and I'm interacting with it. Easy way of telling. Am I clear now? See, sequence diagram, use case diagrams are very, very important. All the 80 students who have logged in now, are you clear? Clear? Anyone who is not clear can message. All of you others are clear from here to there. Okay, fine. Now, 80 students also. Anyone who is not clear, only them. Please message fast. Um, you saw the use case for transfer data. Where was it? Here. Okay. Copy. Okay. Agreed, all of you. This is the transfer data. Receptionist initiates it, transfer the data. It gets updated in where? Patient record system. Yeah, this is the use case diagram. And you saw the table for that also? Description for that use case diagram. Do you remember? Who are the actors involved? What does it do? And what is the response and what is the comments? Did you go through this also, right? Let me put that also in the same slide. So if you have not understood that, the description is also here. Now, can you go through the sequence diagram for that? Can you view the sequence diagram, all of you? Yes? Yes, dear, there can be Ankita, there can be multiple lifelines. But in order to avoid to have multiple lifelines, what they do is they come up with a single lifeline for the entire object. Okay. If you see in this sequence diagram for transfer data, there is summary. object whose lifeline starts at that last moment here. Okay, you can have multiple lifelines. It is you don't have to actually, UML you will learn. Previously people used to write it, nowadays you have tools to automatically generate it, but you should be in a position to understand what this use case diagram does. And those tools are and all costly. Okay, like IBM rational rows and all is there, which will allow you to create these diagrams very easily and perfectly. Only thing is they're very costly licensed versions. So you should know how to write it. And once you get it, you should know how to understand that. See, if you get a use case diagram for any project, some project, if someone has already developed, coding will be very, very easy. Okay. So, can you now go through the sequence diagram for transfer data and explain it to me? What is PRS? It is patient record system. Now I'll be taking the attendance. Just simply don't answer your attendance. Only if you're in a position to answer my questions, then it is fine. Otherwise, no matter what, I'll mark you absent. See, if it was last hour class, if it is afternoon class, I agree, you people will not be interested to hear. 11:30 class, if you are not listening and you have logged out and gone somewhere, then it is not acceptable. Correct, right? For everything, I can't give you excuses. USN 1, please answer your attendance. USN 1, Asta. USN 2, 3, Abhijit Kumar. 4, Abhishek. 5, Abhishek Mishra. Adish. 7th, USN 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Bhanupriya. 26, 26. Bhargav. 27, Shri Harsha. Tell 26 and 27 if they are absent today, they don't attend classes after after me asking questions, and tomorrow if they come and they think I have forgotten, then it will not be the case. I will mark them till they come to the class and answer the questions. I'll not give them attendance. Please let them know. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, Chirantan Banerjee. 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Sir Kamal Nayan, once let him come online or message me, only then I will give attendance. Please let him know. 39 done. 40, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62. Where is 60? Jayam, Akshay. Okay. 63, 63, absent. Okay. 64, 65, 66, 66, 67, 68, Kaja Mohiddin, 68, okay. 60, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 74, Madhusudan, okay. 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 81, Medhini, okay. 82, 82, Mohammed Saif, 83, 84, 85, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 89 and 90. Always they are. Today you are present. Yeah. Jay 63. 63 Anish Shetty I have marked present. 34. When you say you can't type, can you hear? Yes, USN 63. Can you hear? Then why can't you come switch on your microphone and answer your attendance? 34 also. Please ask. If you can't type and your message is not coming, anytime you can switch on your microphone and say present. Do you get it? Next class, if someone is not able to type or something like that, yes, 63 USN. Next time, please, if you can hear, switch on your microphone and answer your attendance. Okay, I have no issues with that. You want to switch on your videos also, I will have no problem. As long as you are sitting properly and listening to the class. Okay. Now, do you want me to explain this or you're fine with that? Anyone who did not understand this? Explanation I have pasted here. Now you can go through this. Okay, I will delete this and this. Okay. Maybe I could have opened the word itself. One second, guys. Okay, guys. Now, whatever you understood and whatever is the explanation there, you can check. Yes, ma'am, finished checking. We are done. We will log out. Tomorrow, I want USN 1 to all the USNs which begin with A. Let me point them first. Or all the students can prepare and come, no? Use case diagrams and sequence diagrams. Yes? Yes or no? Do you have any doubts first of all? Yes, come on. How come there were 82 students? As soon as I took attendance, it became 74. Did I say class over? Okay, next class I will do. I will from next class I will take the attendance at 110 and let's see then how many of you will log out. Or I will take a save the attendance now and let me look into that. Okay, guys, tomorrow I want all of you to prepare for use case diagrams and sequence diagrams. Okay, ma'am, both preparing is very difficult. USN 1 to 30 will prepare for. Oh, you had 65 students, right? 90. USN 1 to 45 can prepare for use case diagram. 45 to 90 will prefer for sequence diagrams. Is it okay? Is it okay, all of you? Yes? Fine. Tomorrow 9:30, your first job will be, I'll finish my session by 11 o'clock. I'm sorry, 10:45, and half an hour I will ask randomly any one of you to explain about use case diagrams and sequence diagrams. So, if anyone has not understood this sequence diagram, the receptionist first logs in. That's why the PRS system, first the receptionist and the login function is there. They are not using any here. See, for the login function, they are not passing any information. There you can say, ma'am, I will give user ID and password. No, that is sent. Yes, you can say within login parameters or arguments as username, password, and it goes to the PRS system. If you have logged in and if you're an authenticated user, okay. Okay. So see this alt square rectangle indicates that this happens only when if you are an authenticated user. The entire square block happens only if you are an authenticated user. So there are two options available for the receptionist. One is direct transfer of the updated patient information system. The other is transfer of summary. Okay. So you can update the patient information, or you can update the summary. So the first option comes is update the patient information. So here we call the update, then we call PR patient information on patient information, then on the PRS we pass the UID there. If he is an authenticated user, we get the authentication, only then we call the update function on PRS system. If I get okay, then I get a manage message also. That is, once it has been updated, I'm getting a message. Ma'am, I'm not getting the reply back. That is how my system works. Then you can remove this line. How your system work, it is dependent upon that. Okay. So once it is done, I am done with this dotted line, it comes back. Next, otherwise what you have is update summary. So you can call either this or this. That is why the dotted line. So when you call update summary, again it will go for summary and it will give the UID there. If you are an authenticated user, then it will call the update summary and do the, not able to view it, 1 second. Okay. So it will call the summarize function, authorization. See, there is only thing here what you have new is this summary. Okay. This summary is another object here, and which is called by the DB. Maybe it will generate a summary. It is a tool or an object which will generate the summary that needs to be updated in the database. So it will give you the summary, which in turn calls the update on the PRS, which does the updation. You get an confirmation message back and then message. Okay. Here you can do other thing also. That is, you can move the summary object up. You can have a summary object here. Okay. And that line also, it can come till here. It is a dotted line, of course. What is that name? Please type that object name summary here. So that will be a dotted line, and its lifetime is only active during this period when it is invoked by the DB. Okay. It will be a dotted line. I've showed a solid line. How do I format shape I should go? Okay, I showed the dotted line only. So this is the summary. You can have it at the top also. Okay with this, all of you? Did I explain? Fine. Shall we stop here? If you have any doubts, you can let me know. Okay, guys, then thank you. We'll stop the session.